Hello everyone, I'm Fizz. Fuzz is not here today, but today we are doing something different. Today is the first part in a new series I will be doing called Why It's Good, where I will be going through various Roblox games and talking about why they have remained consistent, or in some cases, why they are not getting players even though the game seemingly should be getting more. So right now we are in Fishing Simulator, and I thought I would start the series here. It is a gloomy, rainy day here on the Valentine's Island, and we were going to do a video on this update, on the Valentine's update, but to be honest, Laurent Gaming, who is one of the other content creators for a fishing simulator, has done an exceptional video on this update. He goes through pretty much everything. So definitely check out his video on this update if you haven't already. And that's why I figured it would be cool to do something a little bit different, and that's why we are doing this series here. So as some of you know, I am a mobile game developer who has been working in the industry for the past...
It's been 84 years.
So this series will be from that point of view. So today, we're going to be taking a look at Roblox Fishing Simulator, as I said, a game that has been around for a few years now, and one that Fuzz and I recently became content partners for. We've been playing this game for a year or so as of this video, and I basically grinded it like crazy before we became content partners. So everything that I'm saying here is completely unbiased and based on my non-content partner experience with the game. So just some context from talking to some members of the dev team. Fishing Simulator started in pre-beta around 2019. Players really took to the game due to the fact that it's easy to learn and difficult to master, and also due to the subsequent COVID-19 lockdowns, the overall player counts were pretty high. The team took advantage of this and they posted regular quality updates like this one, for example, that earned it a top spot as one of the most engaging games on the Roblox platform. I'm gonna switch over to an alt account so we can talk about some of the stuff there, because some of the things that I want to talk about have a lot to do with the new player experience. So let me switch over and we will be right back. All right, so here we are in a fresh account for this game at least, and you can see that I've started completely from scratch with the tutorial. Now, that's the first thing that I wanted to cover is the first time user experience, and in game development we call that the FTUI, or some people call it the F2E, but it's basically the first time user experience that the players will go through when they first join the game. So as you can see, you're instantly greeted by an NPC named Cody, and he is addressing you and telling you where you need to go next, and he's telling you to go talk to his grandpa, Mr. Rodney. So right away there's some characters, and there's some basic life being added to the first time experience, which is great to see. Like, it's not just arrows pointing you with the text box. They've got some really nice camera pans. It shows you exactly where you need to go. You know what I mean? And if that wasn't enough, they have like the quest markers here, which is exactly telling me how far away I need to go and where it is that I want to be at this time. So before they were using the arrows that other typical Roblox games use, where it just kind of like trails you to that spot, but like little things like this, little bits of polish here and there, really help enhance the experience, especially for first time player. So we're in here now, we know exactly where we need to be. Like, the NPC has that target over his head. So we can talk here to Mr. Rodney, and it's just the touches of, it's very easy to read the text. It's not like difficult in any way to figure out, what they're saying or any of that stuff. So, and the characters, they're interesting. So basically, he tells you what you need to do. You've got nothing, so he gives you a wooden rod. And it's kind of like a throwback to old games, where he was a fisherman before, but he's retired, similar to other games where it's like, you have an adventurer who's retired, and he's got lots of stories to tell, but he's kind of helping you get on your way. So yeah, like familiar, relatable things that everybody kind of knows about. So yeah, so he gives you your first quest. You don't have to go anywhere specific to get the quest. It's literally right here. So it's a simple quest. You just have to go and catch 3 fish. So yeah, basically it tells you exactly, again, where you need to go. It points you right to the dock. So I'm just gonna run down here, and we can equip our fishing rod, and as soon as we do that, it tells you cast the fishing rod into the water, wait for the bubbles to appear. There's a step for literally everything here, and then it tells you to keep clicking the white line. Now I got a pretty difficult fish, I guess, to catch at first, but yeah, this. So we got a rare bluefin tuna. So, I mean, I guess it wasn't difficult, but I guess I'm used to having a high strength rod. So, for me, that was like to see that the thing bobbing back and forth was different, I guess, or I'm not used to it anymore. Okay, so now it's telling me that I caught one fish. Now I need to keep catching more. And like again over here, it tells you that you're doing the tutorial. You have to catch 3 fish. You've caught 1 out of 3, and there's a progress bar. So very easy to understand. Oh, okay, that's a bug, but that's okay. All right, so it looks like I'm going to be catching a trout here, most likely. So yeah, and like just the visual feedback that you're making progress on catching, like the line is coming closer to you, like little things like that really help to a new player to understand exactly what's going on. So we're going to catch 1 more fish here, and that will do it for this quest. Now, if I make it escape, then it tells you quickly that the fish has escaped, and it tells you to try again. So that little dialogue went away a little bit quickly, but it's fine. It's it is there in case you miss. So I'm gonna try that again. This one's a doozy. All right, there we go. So we got it. Now we have to go back and talk to Mr. Rodney, and again we have the quest marker telling us where to go. So let's run back over here. So yeah, just like a clear direction for a new player is very important. And in games, typically the first 30 seconds of the experience is extremely important. This is the reason why retention numbers are so low for some games. Getting a good Fatui flow here is really important to making sure that those retention numbers are good. So he's basically telling us that we need to go sell the fish, and that is the introduction to Caster, who is the one that you will be selling the fish to. So then we're gonna go over and sell the fish. Now I'm not gonna go through this whole tutorial basically. I just wanted to show you like how simple it is to get acquainted with the game as a new player. So again, he introduces himself. He asks if you have anything that you want to sell, and we do. So we're gonna sell all this stuff. Very clear feedback that I got money. It went up into my balance up there. And that's it. And then, again, we have to go back to Rodney and talk to him. So that's basically, the Fatui flow. Now, I'm gonna get this chest. Yeah, so let's talk to him again. And yeah, it looks like some interesting dialogue, and again, now he's telling you, you need to, like, you can buy stuff from the supplies shop. He sells tools, and then there's the boat shop where you can buy yourself a boat. So yeah, and then the aquarium is the last thing, which I'll talk about later. But he basically tells you exactly what there is, and the tutorial basically just covers all of the main stuff, which is like the next thing that I'm going to talk about, which is the core game loop. So the core game loop, essentially, for anyone who doesn't know, is the repetitive part of the game that every player goes through, and it's the main cycle of the game. So for example, in this game, the core loop is you catch fish or you hunt sea creatures, you sell the stuff that you get, you make more money, you use that money to get better rods and better equipment, and then you go out and you catch more rare fish and hunt more rare creatures. And as you're doing that, you're unlocking the different islands and progressing through the game. And the progression through the game is very easy to understand. At level 10, you get this island, level 20, level 30, level 40. So you kind of have an understanding. And also it won't let you go to these places if you're not ready. So that's another thing, like you don't want to overwhelm the player. So Fishing Simulator does a good job of making sure that you don't get overwhelmed. Now this game was a lot more simplistic before I started playing, from what I understand. It's definitely gotten more complex, but I think they did a good job of maintaining that quality first-time user experience and keeping to the core game loop that makes the game really easy to understand and compelling to play. So yeah, like Fishing Simulator is basically like it's Pokemon-esque, but with fishing poles instead of Pokeballs. So you've got that basic creature collecting sort of idea, which is something that a lot of people identify with and a lot of people enjoy. So you can catch tons of fish. Each fish have different rarities and sizes, which exponentially increases the combinations of stuff that you can get. So like, for example, in Port Jackson, there's a handful of fish, right? So you think, oh, I can catch these pretty easily. But no, each fish has 5 different sizes, and each fish has several different glows, which is the the variation of the mutation that you can get. So like you can see just in this one fish, there's so many different combinations of fish, and that makes it so that you have a lot of replay value, and it's for people who like grinding. It really lends itself to that. That just makes a game like this last. It can last you for years, to be honest. And that's a rare thing for a Roblox game. Like usually Roblox games don't last too long. Like people jump in, they'll play a game for like a week or so, and then they'll move on to something else. But there are a few select games, this being one of them, where you actually can play it for a really long time, and the updates keep coming. They're consistent in quality and that kind of stuff. So yeah. Anyway, the next thing is basically just to go and visit all of these places. But yeah, so that's basically the core game loop of Fishing Simulator. And the other thing is like the Fatui basically takes you through that core game loop. Like I literally did the whole loop in just that short amount of time. I caught some fish. I got a piece of equipment that I needed to catch those fish. I sold the fish. Right, and then I understand that I can, use that money to get different stuff, or better stuff. And he just gave me, oh yeah, right, he gives you the sharpened stick, which is useful for hunting. This is introducing the hunting aspect of the game, which is another big component. And that's another thing that this game does well, is like if you don't like fishing, even though the game is called Fishing Simulator, a lot of people don't enjoy the fishing aspect and they just like the hunting. So that's another thing that you can do. You don't have to restrict yourself to one thing or the other. So now he's asking if we want to buy anything. Now, the only thing that we can't even afford this boat yet. So now this is like kind of where they introduce you, to that loop, right? So I tried to spawn a boat. I don't have a boat. So now I know that I need to earn enough money to buy that boat. That's essentially the beginnings of the game. And now player has a clear direction of what they need to do. They want to get out onto the ocean, and to do that they need to get a boat. So you're gonna want to do that relatively quickly. Like you're anxious and excited to get out there, and that's the next step. So I'm actually gonna go back to my main account now, and we can talk about the rest of the stuff. All right, we're back in my main account now. So the next thing I want to talk about is the overall polish of the game. So you can see that it's just a beautiful looking game. I mean, like this is specifically skinned for the Valentine's update, but like just in general, like the attention to detail, like the Valentine's update is going on right now, so the water is pink. Everything is appropriately colored. Thematically, it just looks great. So I'm gonna go out onto the water here, and let's talk about some of the other stuff. So as you already know, at the beginning of this video, I showed that it was raining. The clouds were kind of gloomy and stuff. Now you can see that it's actually not raining anymore. It's sunny. The sky is clear, and it just seems like a much different environment. So things like weather effects, really make a big difference in the immersion of the game. Little things also that they added over the years, like the waves. Like you can see, the ocean has actual waves, right? And when events, specific events happen, like Void Storm or Red Tides, which actually is happening this weekend, the 23rd is when it starts, which is tomorrow. That's an event that happens every so often, and it's like a storm basically. So the waves are massive, like as you're steering your boat, like your boat goes flying off the waves, and it's just a completely different experience, and like it's just great. Like things like that just make the world seem so alive. So yeah, like the graphics, weather effects, the waves, and like you can see the wind. They also have like the wind effect going on here. Just, those are the kinds of things that really make a huge difference. The UI also, like, it's just clean, it's easy to read, you know what I mean? Like, it's like not overly complex. It's just simple and usable. Like, readability is one of the biggest things in games that can cause friction between players and developers. So, like, if the game's not readable, if you don't understand what you're seeing or what you're doing, you're gonna have major problems. So yeah, and like, look at this boat. Like, okay, so I'm gonna be talking about customizability a little bit later, but like, just the graphical quality of this boat, just like, this is one of the the top end boats, but all the boats, they just have so much character, and it's just like, I don't know, it just makes the experience so different for everybody. So yeah, like, just those kinds of touches on polish just make a huge difference. So the next thing that I want to talk about are the retention features. So I don't know, I'm not sure if it showed up in my game, but or in the video while I was recording, but there's like a daily login reward, which is something that a lot of games do have, but it's just one of those small touches that makes people want to come back, and that increases the retention of the game. So we also have daily and weekly quests, and actually I should go back to I don't actually have any quests right now, so let me go back to Port Jackson. Okay, so the place where you get quests is in here, in Reagan's Tavern. So for this game, there are two types of quests. There are hourly quests and there are weekly quests. Hourly quests are simple, quick quests you can do that give you gems, which is one of the currencies in the game. The weekly quests give you a different currency, which are shards, which are the more, I guess, premium currency of the game. They're much harder to get, and they get you much better stuff. Shards are useful to get stuff from the wandering merchant who comes by every weekend on Friday through Sunday. And speaking of the wandering merchant, he's not here right now because I'm recording this on a Thursday. But yeah, there's a rotating there are rotating weekly items that are sold by him, and again, like I mentioned, only on weekends. This basically strengthens the retention even more, because during the week you're grinding shards, you're looking forward to seeing what the merchant will have in stock. And like, I recall when I was saving up for the cybernetics glider, which is the thing that is on my back, lets me glide around. It took me months to save up enough shards. This is when the glider was 850. They lowered it now to I think 450. But it took me months to save up enough shards, and then not only that, but even when I had enough shards, like, I still had to wait for the item to come in stock at the wandering merchant. So even if I wasn't playing every day, I would still make sure to come back on the weekend to check to see if the wandering trader actually had that. And then while I was there, I would think, might as well just play some more, you know what I mean? So like, these are the kinds of things, again, like going back to retention, that help bring people back on a regular basis. Yeah, so now let's talk about customizability. So as I was mentioning before, my boat was, it's pretty customized. Like, I have like different paints and that kind of stuff on different colors on the boat. So like, you can go into the boat shop and you can, instead of, buying a boat, you can, like, for example, you can customize a boat. So like, I guess, in the case of this one, if I go to customize, you've got all these colors that you can choose from. You can upgrade, the health or the speed, which actually I'm not sure why I haven't upgraded this boat yet, but yeah, like, you can literally, upgrade all of this stuff. I'm not going to do that right now. And yeah, like, you can choose the colors of all of the different things, and there are specific colors that you can only get by spending premium currency. So that's another thing, like the neon colors and stuff. Like, those are extra things that people like to show off that they have, and it just lends to that pride of how long you've been playing, and it gives you the motivation to keep going, because you want to stand out from everybody else. And the customizability on the boats is just insane. Like, the level of detail that you can do, like the trim and the sails and all that stuff, the lights, even the color of the lights. Like, there's so much customizability that goes into touches like that. So yeah, and then we also have different fishing rods with different stats and that kind of stuff. Like, each of these fishing rods have different stats that make them somewhat unique. They have different lighting effects, different look about them, that kind of stuff. So, and like there are some really wildly different looking ones, like like this one, like the Excalibur rod, like really nice touches on some of this stuff. I think those kinds of touches really make a huge difference. Like people want a customizable experience. They want to be different from everybody else, and these are the ways that Fishing Simulator makes sure that that's possible. Now, there's also pets. Pets is probably the most underwhelming part, but as I understand, pets are supposed to be getting a visual overhaul at some point. Last time I checked, but the pets are they basically just give you different bonuses, kind of like the rods and stuff, but they just add a little bit of an extra, I guess, grind for players to get. And to be able to get things like fishing rods and pets, you can come over to these chests, and it's got like that whole gacha sort of experience. Now this isn't available in all territories. Like there are some European regions that don't allow players to partake in gacha style stuff because they consider it to be like a form of gambling. But it's like you're taking a chance to get different things. So like for example over here, you can see the chances that you can get the stuff. This is using virtual currency, so like I guess like the thing is that you can buy this virtual currency with real money, so indirectly you're kind of using real money, but at the same time you can get, of course, you can get this currency just by playing the game. You don't have to spend money, but it's still some areas just don't like it for whatever reason. So yeah, so let's move on to the next thing, which is the co-op aspects of the game. So like fishing and hunting with friends, it just makes the game so much more fun, and it makes any game really more fun for people who like that kind of stuff. So like you can see there's a guy fishing out there, right? Like I can just go over to his boat, and if he allows me to, I can jump into his boat and fish with them. So like certain boats have certain bonuses that you can get. So it pays to have friends who have boats that are that have these kinds of bonuses. Like for example, this boat, it has a rarity chance. So basically, if you're fishing with friends and you're just starting, having friends with boats that have those kinds of effects will help you to have an easier time. Basically, there is kind of a debate about one thing related to trading. Now, a lot of people do like games where you can trade stuff with people because it helps you get progress faster. But in a game like this, where you're meant to kind of go your own way essentially, and like earn everything kind of yourself, I'm actually glad that they didn't add trading in this game, because like people could just trade each other the best fish, and I could sell a whole bunch of really rare fish and make millions upon millions of coins as like a level 1. There are ways to mitigate that if you do want to add trading. Like you can limit what people can trade. You have to be a certain level to be able to have a certain type of thing. But overall, I think the decision to not include trading in this game was a good one. And like it has ruined other games for me, like just being given the best stuff, and then you're like, you don't really even know what to do at that point because you're overwhelmed, because you have so much stuff that you don't know what it is, or you don't have any context basically. So yeah. So the other aspect of co-op play in this game is the boss fights. So in this game there are 2 boss fights. There is Moby Wood, which is the giant whale who spawns in Monster's Burrow, and players can spawn him by triggering him, and that is to open up you have to get a whale key and open up the locked door, and then you spawn him that way. And then it's basically like a raid battle. So a bunch of players come together and they fight. Basically, they fight the raid boss together, and once you take him down, you get potentially you can get some good rewards. And it's the same thing with the Kraken on the other island, Timeless Tides Ocean. There is the Kraken, so it's the same idea. That one's a fun boss fight. I enjoyed that one a lot. But yeah, so there's that other aspect, to co-op, like, and also like just fishing together and hunting together. It makes the game so much more interesting and fun. And then we also have the competitive aspects of the game. So you can show off your aquarium collection. That's not something that I've really focused on myself. But the game has an aquarium, and you can show it off and show people what you've caught and what kind of fish you have. Rare fish. You can get eggs from killing sea creatures, and that kind of I'm in like the middle of nowhere here. You can get shark eggs and whale eggs, and you can put them in your aquarium, and that gives you like baby sharks and baby whales, which you can show off. So yeah, like just that competitive aspect, and like when you catch something, you can show it to your friends. So like I can just I can't do it right now, but so like if this was like a really rare fish, I can hold it in my hand and say, hey, look guys, look what I caught. Like just little things like that. Make it cool in terms of being a competitive experience. So like Fuzz and I have done things in this game, like we've done like a fishing scavenger hunt, which we have a video on, where we had like a checklist of fish that we both had to catch in a limited amount of time. Not actually, it wasn't a limited amount of time. Whoever caught all of those fish first basically won the challenge. So you can do fun things like that. The other major competitive aspect of this game, and probably the most competitive aspect, is the fish index. So you have you basically have all of the areas, and it tells you which fish you've caught or how many of the fish that you've caught. And completing the index is like a long-term goal, and each index gives a specific reward that you can't get anywhere else. So competing with friends to complete the index, or even just showing off that you've completed the index and like have the special rewards, is another thing that really brings out the competitive aspect to this game. So yeah, that's basically everything that I wanted to talk about in Fishing Simulator and what makes it a good game. Now, like this is one of the games that it's been around for a long time. The numbers are decent. Like it gets anywhere between, I guess, like the high thousands to 2,000 to 3,000 players, I guess, even more on updates probably, and events like the Void Storm and Red Tides and stuff. But yeah, like it has remained consistent, and I think if they continue with the way that they're handling it, it will continue to remain consistent. It also has a very, I guess, active community. It's one of the few games that a lot of older people play. Typically, Roblox games lend themselves to a younger crowd, but Roblox has grown up over the past years, so a lot of the people who have started playing Roblox when they were younger, who are still around, are looking for experiences that are more complex, more mature, and Fishing Simulator is one of those experiences. So that's definitely what struck it with me at the beginning, why I enjoy it so much. And yeah, so hopefully you guys found this video entertaining and informative. I will definitely be doing more videos like this about different games on Roblox. If you have any suggestions of games that you would like to see me do a video like this on, drop them in the comments. I can't guarantee that I'm gonna do a video on them, but if you have an idea of something that you think I should check out, definitely let me know. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.